I'm Doug. Welcome to the silliest internet-based yacht show on the
internet.
Okay, look, Carrie's not here. She's still in the Bahamas. Paige is doing something else, so I'm going solo, but that's okay because I was very lucky to have a tour of Coast Guard Station Fort Lauderdale. I think this is really important for you guys because these are the guys that are keeping us safe. We're all part of a community. We all love boats, and Fort Lauderdale is the yachting capital of the world, so these guys are pretty busy. But please, don't go anywhere. We need to get through the sponsors. They're very important. Marine Data Solutions, they have this new thing called the Blender. It makes it faster. And Hargrave Custom Yachts. This week, in a couple of days, we have a new episode called Hargrave coming out where we tour the office. And of course, we have ITS, which is the carpet cleaning service that you guys need if you need flag state requirements for your fire retardant carpet. And our newest sponsor, we love them so much, is Maritime Professional Training, MPT. I am sure all you guys have been to MPT, at least a majority of you. You guys know what MPT is all about, but it's one school, unlimited possibilities. So let's jump right into yacht industry news. It's gonna be a little different, but you guys are gonna love it, I swear. All right, let's do the thing. Okay, yacht industry news. Pay the guys $160 for day work. It's not even your money. Pay them. We need these guys. You guys, you know what? I see all these posts coming up going, oh, I'm looking for day work. Because you guys don't want to wash the boat. These guys will wash the boat. Work them to pieces. Just pay them at least $160. I'd appreciate that. Okay, something else is the bottom line is providing a scholarship for one engineer, one stewardess, and one deck. What's that mean? It's the Bottom Line Scholarship Program, and I can't do this without my sponsors. I'm sure you guys know a couple of the sponsors that are helping us out with that, wink, wink, all right? But what that means is we're gonna grab you from your house, we're gonna plop you down in Fort Lauderdale, we're gonna put you in crew housing, and then we're gonna get you trained, and then we're gonna put you in crew placement, and then we're gonna put you on a yacht, all for free. All for free. Ain't that awesome? All right, but I need your help. I want to see some interaction because this is a big deal. It's a lot of cash, all right, but that's the bottom line and our sponsors giving back to you guys, all right? So please check that out. Now, what are we doing for yacht industry news? Captain Joel, a local captain, he's a great guy, but he was a little crazy and he bought an ex-Coast Guard cutter. What's that mean? He literally bought a military patrol boat. First thing I said is, Joel, what are you gonna do with that? He goes, I don't know. I said, let's go out and give people tickets. Anyway, long story short, Coast Guard Station Fort Lauderdale kind of got chummy with him because, they like boats. He likes Coast Guard boats. And they invited him to the Coast Guard base. And he said, Doug, would you like to go? I was already in the car. I'm like, I'll pick you up. Let's go. So we got a tour of Station Fort Lauderdale. It is a very important station in the Coast Guard. It's a high-profile station. It's where every time the news crews go down and all that. So I want you guys to really check this out. I want you guys to see what those guys are doing to keep us guys safe. And we need to support the Coast Guard. I mean, they're a very important branch of the military. So let's jump right into it. Take a look at this. Coast Guard Station Fort Lauderdale is located actually in a park between Hollywood, Dania, and Fort Lauderdale. It's on the inlet, Port Everglades. It's very convenient. They operate two 45-foot, what you would call them, small boats, medium response vessels, and they operate two 33-foot special purpose boats. I'll get into those boats later, but it's also home for an ANT team. We didn't have time to go look at the ANT team, but they're there. ANT, by the way, is aids to navigation. If you guys want to send any complaints, why's that marker there? Okay, but they also have an 87-foot Protector class patrol boat, which is home ported at Station Fort Lauderdale, and we're going to start there. The Protector class patrol boat station there is called the Man of War, and it's really cool. Unfortunately, you guys, I want you to pay attention to this because these boats are all getting decommissioned. They originally built 73 of them. But unfortunately, there's only 67 active. No, the other ones didn't sink. They're giving them away to other countries. And that's kind of always, but even worse, because there's no funding for the Coast Guard, there is no replacement for these vessels. In other words, when they're gone, they're gone. It's not like there's another one on the drawing board. It's going to be bigger and better. That's just the way it is with funding with the Coast Guard. I'm ex-Coast Guard. I've been through that before. So let me give you some stats on this vessel. Okay, obviously they're 87 feet long. I mean, that's a no-brainer. They displace 91 tons, that's gross tonnage. Okay, that's obviously the US measurement. They have a 19-foot beam, they draw 5.7 feet. They are propelled by 2 MTU diesels to a speed of 25 knots. And for those of you who don't know, that's 29 miles an hour and 46 kilometers. So everybody in Europe, 46 sounds pretty fast. Okay, they have a 900-mile range that's going really, really slow. Their average duration is about 3 days, and they have 10 or 11 crew on board. Now, the officer in charge, what we call the O&C, is a really cool guy. He's the one who gave us a tour. That's Senior Chief Brody, and you know, he just loves his job. He loves the boat, big thank you for inviting us on board and letting us see a little bit behind the scenes. And I'm going to show him a yacht whenever he's ready. Okay, so we're going to start at the back of the boat. This is a well where they carry their tender, just like a yacht. All right, they have a small tender, and Brody's telling me, Senior Chief Brody told me that they can launch it up around when they're doing about 4 or 5 knots and about 3 foot. They'll launch the boat, go down the ramp, the crew go do their thing, and then they bring the boat back, and it's really cool. The old boats, you'd have to have a derrick or a crane or davits down is a big deal. This thing can get launched really quick. It's really cool. And another thing that they really did with the 87 up from the 82 was they made the bridge so much bigger. Here is the bridge. It's more like a command center, and it's really, really cool. You'll notice that there's no wheel, but they do have all the up-to-date electronics for drug interdiction, illegal immigration, search and rescue, and all that. Okay, so here's something really cool, and Joel's trying to figure out how to operate it. This is a high-power camera that is gyro stabilized.
Something weird that isn't intentional, you know? Like left and right on your left joystick focuses.
There's it drops by the mast at some point, right?
It does, yeah. There's a few obstructions here and there. Like looking directly behind you, it's kind of an issue.
It's hard to believe, but you can see a nickel on a boat a quarter mile away. It's also infrared. They use this to determine what the hell's going on with the boat, and they don't even have to get close. The key word here is gang. You might not even know they're looking at you, and they can count how many people are down below. This is very good for illegal immigration, which they use it a lot. They're going to go into the main deck, and this is Senior Chief Brody's office. This is where he does his work. And to the forward end of it is 2 cabins for the senior staff on board the vessel, kind of just like a yacht where the captain's cabin is behind the bridge. Well, Brody's cabin is below the bridge, but above the rest of the boat. It's pretty cool. Now, there's a couple places we can't look. We could not look in the armory, and we could not look in a certain couple other places, but I think you guys get a gist of it. Now, we're gonna go down these stairs, and this is gonna be the main deck for the crew. We have the galley, and we have the crew lounge. Now, just like a yacht, actually, there's 10, 11 crew on this boat. You can see it only sits about 6, so they do have to eat in shifts. However, you know, when the boat's in port, there's only 1 person on board. Everybody, you know, sleeps ashore. So when you're underway, it kind of works out because you're going to have people on the bridge. By the way, they operate the boat with a minimum of 2 people on the bridge at all times. Hint, hint for you guys that you yacht crew. So we're going to move aft now into the engine room. And you guys didn't see it. We just passed the armory, but we can't go in there, can't show it. Okay, so the engine room is powered by twin MTU diesels. I was very surprised about that. And they have twin generators. They carry about 4,000 gallons of fuel. And it's not the fuel that limits their duration to 3-4 days. It's the water. They only carry 400 gallons of water. They have a water maker, but you know, they're waiting on parts. Coast Guard is suffering from the same situation everybody else is, the supply chain. But these guys have to go out and save people's lives. Something needs to be done to get these guys on the priority list to get the equipment they need to do their job. Anyway, these engines and that range will give them a max of 900 miles at slow speed, and that's what they usually do to save fuel, just like everybody else. But they do sprint up to 20-25 knots when they have to. It's pretty cool. This is a very noisy room, by the way. This is not to yacht standards. Okay, now we're going to take a look around the main deck forward. So we walk around the deck house. and I'm going to give you some right now. You guys are looking up at this deck house. It's pretty tall. This boat rolls. Okay, they don't have stabilizers. So anyway, this is the foredeck, and these are where the 50 caliber machine guns get mounted. Here's a quick video of them firing off the 50 cals. It's pretty good. Okay, so, you know, a special thanks to Senior Chief Brody and the crew. They were so nice. We had lunch on board. They invited us for lunch, and we had a Coast Guard lunch on board an 87-foot cutter. I mean, for ex-Coast Guard, they've been out for a long time, what a day for me. Joel, he had a blast too, because he owns an ex-Coast Guard cutter, so we were eating this all up. But we're gonna move on to the other boats. But again, huge thanks to the crew of the Man of War, the 87-foot. But before we do that, I want to jump into Tech Talk. So let's jump into Tech Talk. Give me the spinny prop things. Okay, so Tech Talk is always brought to you by AMSOIL, and Dave is a regional guy down here for AMSOIL. Okay, now in Tech Talk today, we are technically talking about getting boarded by the Coast Guard. See how I tied all that in? You know, Coast Guard. Okay, so I just want to go through quickly on what's going to happen if you get boarded by the Coast Guard as a captain running a, say, 100 to 140 foot yacht. All right, let's start with this. Here we are off the coast of New Jersey, and this is a 47 motor lifeboat from Station Point Pleasant coming out to us. Now, the first thing that they do is they're going to tell me or you to slow down to about 4 knots. Okay, and then hold your course. I'm telling you guys, the easiest way to do this is put the autopilot on, because for me at 4 knots, the boat kind of waves around. Now they're going to bring the boat in, and they're going to kind of, you'll see I have 2 big fenders back there, and they have their little tiny fenders, which probably does nothing. But you need to prepare for this. You want to board them on the aft of the vessel. It'll be easier for them. You'll see that I have a tow, so that's even more difficult for them. If they screw up, they can't go that way. But now they're laying the boat up, and there goes the boarding team. They are going through the companionway that my boarding ladder usually is. I have a mate stationed down below, okay? And then he is going to escort them up to the bridge. And now see, now the 47 is going to pull out, and then it's going to take station up. This particular time, it took station up on my starboard side. Now, don't ask them to take their shoes off, because they ain't going to do it. All right. As a captain, you should remain on the bridge. You have your mates escort them up to the bridge immediately. All right. And you introduce yourself to the boarding team. They're going to tell you what they want. You're going to do it. That's the way it works. Most of the time, what's going to happen is the boarding officer is going to stay up on the bridge with the captain and go over the paperwork, which is the yacht documentation, registration, blah, 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 blah. All right. Then the boarding team is going to go through the boat. Now, you can have a crew member escort them, because they don't know the layout of the boat. And generally on the mega yachts, these guys are really friendly unless you're doing something bad. All right, you know, so the boarding officer's up there on the bridge with the captain. The team is walking around, taking a look-see, checking for life jackets, everything else. They're going to open up some doors. Again, girls are not going to tell you to take. They're not going to take their shoes off. Just live with it. That's the way it is. Those boots are for protection. Once the team's done, they all have communications. The boarding officer's going to go, "Thank you, have a good day." Or if you guys messed up, they're going to write you a citation or a warning. All right. Now, if you're really messed up, they're going to tell you have to pull in. Obviously, we did not have any citations. They were really nice, and then they left. Okay, real quick, bottom feeders. Well, I'd like to say the Coast Guard's all our bottom feeders, but here we go. Michael Bresk, he's ex-Army. He wants the monkey butler. Another one is Adrienne Nakos. She lives in Harbor Island. Thank you from the Bahamas for watching. We love that. And Robert Schmid, he works at Raleigh County School System. I think that's in West Virginia. He sent this video. I guess he's down in Lauderdale. That guy on the center console was stupid and he was smart at the same time. He got out of the way. But the fact of the matter is, never approach a bridge from a right angle. You should be coming straight on. He had the surprise of a lifetime. This is a classic example of tonnage rules, okay? Bigger boat, you get out of the way. All right, we're gonna move into crew corner. So give me the cannon, boom. Okay, never forget the Crew Corner is brought to you by crewhaven1501.com. Check out Jamie at crewhaven1501.com. She's also helping us out with the scholarship. Thank you very much, Jamie. Okay, so what we're gonna do for Crew Corner is just finish out the tour at the Coast Guard base. Please hang with me. It's kind of really cool. You guys need to see this. So they operate two 45-foot medium response vessels. We've all seen these boats around. They're at basically every Coast Guard station around. These are the guys that are pulling the smaller boats over. They have a 14-foot beam. They are powered by two MTU diesels, Detroit MTU turbocharged diesels, producing 825 horsepower total. They have two Rolls-Royce water jets, so they are jet drive. That's pretty cool. They cruise at 30 knots. They do a max speed of 42. They carry 4 crew. They are allowed to operate 50 miles from shore, and they have a range of 250 miles at 30 knots. The Coast Guard's going to tell you to go out at 11 feet on that little boat. And they can operate at max winds of 50 knots. That's almost tropical storm status. Okay, so the other two boats that they have are called special purpose vessels. They are 33 feet long and they are badass. They have triple engines. They'll do 50 knots, 50 knots. That's so fast for a Coast Guard boat. They will go, at 30 knots, they'll go 290 miles. Here's another cool thing. Take a look at this. This is inside of that one. They have seating for 12. They don't run with 12 crew, obviously, but if somebody was in trouble and they had to pick them up, you need space to put the survivors on board. So that's the fleet. So they got the 233s, they got the 245s, and then they got the 87. And the Ian team has a whole bunch of little boats that they go to fix the AIDS navigation. I can't thank you everybody enough over there at Station Fault Lauderdale. I mentioned the senior chief who is in charge of that, but I also met, and he's a really great guy, Lieutenant Commander McNell. And he's just finishing up his 2-year term. He's very proud of that station. That station is a model of a Coast Guard station. It's a very high profile station. It is beautiful. It is run spectacularly. Everybody there seems happy and well, doing whatever they want to do to get the job done. It's really good. How does this apply to yachts? We're not different from these guys. We go out to sea. We do everything they do, but they have a much harder job. So next time you see a Coast Guard cutter out there, I want you guys, or even a patrol boat, to honk the horn. All right, wave. Let them know that you appreciate they're out there, that they are out there. I'm Doug. This is the bottom line. We'll be back next week. Hopefully one of my co-hosts will be available. But anyway, until then, I want you guys and I want everybody in the Coast Guard to stay safe.